Hey everyone. So I'm here with the Indian Express newspaper and today's date is 25 November 2025. So let's begin today's session. It is about the world where Europe proposes halting war now, discussing territory later. Okay. US Ukraine work on refined plan to end war with Russia. Okay. Three killed in suicide blast at Peshawar paramilitary headquarters. Judge Tozer's case against FBI ex-chief Comey, New York AG. Another news is about Trump. Xi speak on call to discuss trade, Taiwan and Ukraine. Okay. Flood displaced thousand in Southeast Asia. Okay. Volcano erupt in Ethiopia after 10,000 years. Smoke reaches India. Gaza ceasefire progress slow as Israel strike Khan. Jonas kills two. Okay, so let's move on to the front page. It's Sri Tegh Bahadur जी की शहीद दिवस है, I think. Okay, I don't think means it's a day of martyrdom. Sri Tegh Bahadur ji. Okay, it's a guru of Sikhs. Okay, where is the front page? This is the explanation page. Before going to the front page, uh, we are at the explanation page. I think the slides are much overlapped or not in an order way. That's why I felt too many issues. But no worries. Whatever the first slide, we will read each and every slide. Okay. So this is about the economy. How Trump's tariff have run into affordability crisis. US inflation rate has risen after Liberation Day tariff. Okay. Unemployment rate too has inched. It's inched up means the level of unemployment is increased. Inched up means okay. A fall in consumer sentiments can be seen across age, income, and political affiliation. Okay, so this is the graph where it shows the fall of income, age, and the political affiliation. So, according to this article, it's about the economy, and it says that the Trump tariff can how create a crisis. Okay, so let's read what Udit Misra, the author, want to explain. So, as the impact of US President Trump tariff slapped on a country around the world is felt by American electorate, the administration is seemingly on the defensive. On November 14, Trump decided to cut tariff on a host of agriculture staple from bananas to coffee to beef. Okay, so the ideal the round in Washington government dividend to each American, excluding the reach out of the billions of dollars earned in tariff. This U-turn is not surprising. Trump's stated economic logic for slapping tariff on countries around the world. Tariff would force companies to set up production in the US and creating jobs, bolstering economic growth, and lowering inflation was always suspect. Okay, so what does this say? The author Udit Misra just trying to highlight that after the tariff that is imposed by America, okay, so on 14 November, they decided to cut that tariff on certain products, okay, like agriculture, bananas, coffees, okay. So, the another idea of Trump is that Washington is for the government where the dividend to each American excluding the rich dollar earned in the tariff means how many amount means $2,000 each billionaires of America is earned from that tariff that is imposed in India. Okay, so these are the thing that is written here. So this U turn is surprising tariff Trump's stated economic logic. Okay, for slapping tariff for country around. Okay, just so uh, around the world, tariff would force companies to set up production in US, creating jobs, bolstering economic growth, and lowering inflation was always suspect. Okay, so these all are the economic logics. Okay, and how the tariff can help the companies to set up production in US. Okay, and this will help to lowering inflation in US. Okay, so move on to the flawed economic logics, where contrary to what Trump believes, tariffs are a tax on domestic consumer. It is they who pay the tariff or imported goods. This lead to one or two things. Okay, so here is the explanation of tariff. Tariff means the tax that the consumer of the goods have to pay. Okay, or the person, the seller or the importer of have to pay. That tariff is written here. Okay, so what about the consumer? Consumers stop purchasing imported goods. Foreigners have fewer dollar in their hands, which dampen their demand for American goods and services, ultimately hurting American growth. Okay, so domestic consumer may choose to pay the higher price of the goods, meaning they have a less money to make other purchase, often in the domestic market. This too hurt American growth by hitting domestic producers. Okay, now apparent on the ground. So the logic was flawed, was well known before tariff came into effect, but now their impact is showing up across the American economy. Okay, so that effect of the tariff is showing on the American economy. Inflation, what first point there is the trajectory means the disaster, okay, or the peace was trending beginning. He reversed its trajectory since April month when Trump first announced whipping tariff. Okay, here is detailed explanation. Okay, and here is the Goldman Sachs report has estimated that of August and US business had absorbed about half of all tariff cost. It also suggests that more and more of cost will be passed on to the consumer in the shape of higher price of the year, indicating inflation might further rise. Okay, so these are the employment means first effect on the inflation, fair another on unemployment. Okay, at rate 2 has inched up through the year. GDP growth, according to the latest World Economic Outlook, the GDP growth is higher, and consumer sentiments, according to University of Michigan Consumer Survey, the index of consumer sentiment in November 30% below the level last November. Okay, business sentiments. The Chamber of Commerce, the US largest business association, has repeatedly said that tariffs are hurting American business, especially the small firms that neither have the financial strength to deal with higher cost imposed by tariff nor ability to reorient new supply lines after tariff disrupt existing ones. Okay, diplomatic ties, US dollar status. Okay, so we read about each and everything inside business sentiment, what happened in the US, inside diplomatic sites, everything is written here, and what are the status of US dollar. I think today's cost of US dollar is around 88 rupees per dollar. Okay, Political fallout, how the political fallout with the economic hurting, Trump is now under political pressure to do something. The result of the recent off-year polls in which Republicans were doubled across the board as well as tanking of Trump's approval rating are testaments to this fact. Note that during the recent polls, Democrats centered their campaign around the issue of affordability. Much like Trump had done last year, Trump's choice to cut tariff, okay, on some food items, and this overall caused inflation on September. Inflation rate of banana, beef was rise from 7% 15%, okay, and coffee. There is also growing disunity within Trump camp about tariff. Okay, and if tariff continue to upset American household budget, politicians will start to find it tough to sacrifice their own re-election chance at the altar of the president's misplaced fascination with tariff. Lastly, Trump's sweeping reciprocal tariffs are now being evaluated in high profile case is the Supreme Court. Okay, adverse ruling could have serious impact on the intellectual and moral standing of Trump's presidency. Okay, what will it mean for Chandigarh if it is brought under Article 240? Okay, so we already read about this tariff and what are the impact of this tariff on America. The main thing is written here. Okay, what's the about national security? Why India needs national counter IED policy? What are the policies? What will it mean for Chandigarh if it brought under Article 240? Two things to know. What are the two things? How the climate summit COP30 in Brazil shown the spotlight in Editorial. How Darwin's origin of a species led basis for modern evolutionary theory. Okay, so this is the Indian Express first page. Okay, this is the Indian Express slides front page. Finally, after reading a lot of new articles and new topics, and those all topics are much important. Okay, so read it in detail once again. You will get a lot of ideas about the economy. So in the front page, capitals disproportionate vehicle load under scanner. Delhi chokes PMO flag vehicle 37% non compliant calls for EVS. Delhi, UP, Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan asked to urgently adopt practical result oriented measures. Okay, work from home in Delhi, government private offices told to function at 50% strength. Okay, what's the another? The complete man who could fight, flirt, and joke all in one frame. He is Dharmendra. No, who is it? The actor, I think, who died. Dharmendra. Okay, and he died. So, R.I.P. One of the most renowned and famous actor. So, Justice of India, Surya Kant, new CGI appointed, 53rd CGI, and Surya Kant. Okay, and he take oath in front of Draupadi Murmu, the president. PM Modi and Vice President CP Radhakrishnan were among those who attended the ceremony. Okay, PM at final Ram Temple event today. Foot soldiers of Mandir movement to take center stage. 22 arrested after pepper spray used on police at pollution protest. Okay, Naxal link under probe. Second edition of games being held across the region's 7 districts with double the participants, 500 of them ex-Maoist bastard has a new tag set by Olympic. Okay, this is the second page, and you will get detailed explanation of the front page. So read it in detail. If you want any detail of any news, everything is written here. Okay, this is about the city. Read it in detail. I'm not going to read it, but you have to read. Okay, you will get a lot of idea about the city and what is happening in the society. It's about the politics page. I am mainly here to read about the important news. Okay, so let's read. Will remain in office until February 9. Justice Suryakant takes oath as 53rd Chief Justice of India. No bail for now. Centre's footprint in Chandigarh is growing. Village celebrate journey of its Surya. UT interim step political question must be settled. India's first anti-submarine shallow water craft Navy commissioned Silent Hunter INS Mahi Indian naval ship Mahi after 2 years of trial. Holy City tag for Amritsar, World City Anandpur Sahib and Talwandi Shabo. India France to jointly manufacture hammer around to ground weapon. Finally, we are at the editorial page, and the word of the day and the thought of the day is genetics is not just about the genes we inherit, but how we use them. Okay, it's by Richard Dawkins. Okay, so let's read what's the article says. First of all, read all the headings of the article, and whatever the article is mainly to the point, we are going to read that article. Okay, so it's by Deshkal by Yogendra Yadav. The original thinker, the thought elite did not celebrate and should have. Okay, he man with the soft eye. The another article. Dharmendra success is what dreams are made of. Farmers must reap fruits and genetic engineering. Dubai tragedy must not hold back Tejas or the IAF. So let's read about this first article, okay? The original thinker, the thought allied didn't celebrate and should have. Okay. So Deshkal by Yogendra Yadav. What's inside it? After that we are going to read, okay? I'm not getting the idea with reading this heading or topic, but I think we get the idea by reading this short one. Since the unlike the communist, had very little clout in academia, his work remained largely unnoticed. It did not matter to him, but it should matter to the world of ideas that struggle for relevance in New India. Okay. So, Deshkal by Yogendra Yadav. Let's read this one. Like skimming, okay? So, the passing away of Siyachin Sinha, Sachichindan, Sachichindanand Sinha. I'm sorry, I'm unable to pronunciate it. So, was me, was for me the closer of 20th century intellectual giant where political thinkers could help to make sense of entire range of human experience where thinking was not a profession but a vocation where ideology was not a cues word. A small and dwindling circle of socialists marked his departure as the end of socialist ideological tradition for me. It was the end of the age of ideology as I knew it. It is a mark of our time that the death of such preeminent thinker was not noticed by the world of ideas. Okay, so the Patna edition of Hindi Daily Prabhat Khabar and a small tribute in this paper were among the few exceptions. To be fair, most journalists and academics may not have heard of him when not conflating him with two of his better known namesakes. This is rather old. The usual reason why some thinkers get ignored do not apply to Sachichiraji. Unlike most activist thinker, he was prolific writer. Okay, it gives you a lot of ideas and you will learn a lot of words by reading it. Okay, so it mainly summarizes the point and the idea of the article. Anyone with the body of original work, someone who outlined the fourth unfinished volume of Marx Capital, wrote a manifesto for the future and offered insight on anarchist, would have been an academic superstar, not Sachi Chiraji. Okay, so that meant an abrupt end to his studies after the year of BSc. Okay, so worker in today's Jharkhand and railway and port workers in Mumbai and B.R. Ambedkar election in 1952. These all things and this all shows where political education happened. Okay, through the party library and evening study camps. So, Sada Jivan Uch Vichar, simple living, high thinking, was one of the phrases we learnt in school. It was my fortune when that I met Sachida ji, Kishain, and Ashok who lived this motto. Okay, indifferent to material comfort, political power, popularity of recognition, he was not just self effacing, he had a way of self erasure. He would not compromise on political commitment or intellectual integrity. Those who wish to attend the vacuum of political thinking in contemporary India could begin by reading him. Okay, so move on to the another page. Okay, articles are not interesting. I'm sorry, I didn't give any ideas or thoughts, but these all are not interesting. It's about the idea of a person or a socialist and how they can determine or how they can explain uh, their life and the way of living in detail. Okay, so move on to the idea page where RSS is now attempting to take control of its own narrative for cleaning up electoral roll. The right Aadhaar. At COP30, a divided world finds common ground. Pulmonary Hypertension Awareness Month. PH patients faced extra challenges during COVID 19. What's it? Final page, I think it's a economy page. Dharmendra, a tribute. Hmm. Where is the economy page? It's about the nation. Where is the economy page? Finally, we get the economy page. Okay. So, primary mandate of RBI is price stability, secondary objective is growth. Okay, so primarily objective of RBI is that price stability and the secondary objective is growth. Okay, so these are the words by the RBI governor Sanjay Malhotra. Macroeconomics data suggest there is scope of repo rate cut. RBI governor. Fiscal monetary steps to boost investment growth. RBI bulletin. Okay. So what does it says? RBI's governor Sanjay Malhotra on Monday said the current economic indicators suggest there is a scope of repo rate cut, but A decision on which will be made by Monetary Policy Committee MPC. His statement comes days ahead of MPC upcoming meet scheduled from December 3 to 5 October meeting of MPC. It was indicated that there is scope of further rate cut in the monetary policy. None of macro indicators, including inflation released after that, suggest that scope has reduced, so there is definitely a scope, but MPC was decided on it and on the upcoming meeting, Malhotra said in an interview with JAAJ Business. India's headline inflation as measured by consumer price index. Okay, so during current easing cycle, MPC reduced by repo rate of 100 basis point BPS February and June, keeping the repo rate steady at 5.5% in August and October. Economists expect MPC to reduce repo rate by 25 BPS, okay, basis point in December. So, in response to question whether there is aggressive repo rate cuts, the governor said RBI's primary motive is price stability and secondary motive is the growth. Okay, so neither aggressive nor defensive. We are like all rounder, but an all rounder who focused on bowling of defense and hits 4 and 6 if required. We do not batting and bowling, but bowling, which is equivalent to price stability, is our priority. When asked what about the rupee level of RBI is comfortable with, Malhotra said historically the rupee was depreciated by 3.5% on an annual basis. Our effort that rupees movement remains smooth on possible stress. Okay, MSME segment. He said that asset quality in the sector remain satisfactory and hope that this trend would continue. Okay, so MPC is expected to cut repo rate on December 5. Okay, Sanjay Malhotra comes days ahead of MPC committee, where upcoming meeting on from November 3 to 5. MPC has reduced repo rate by 100 basis points so far in 2025, with headline retail inflation at record low 0.25% in October. Economists expect a rate cut next month. Okay, so these all are the news. What's inside it? Fiscal monetary step to boost investment growth, said by RBI bulletin. So, the fiscal, monetary, and regulatory measures undertaken so far this year should pave the way for a virtuous cycle of high private investment. RBI State of Economy article. Okay. Public sector banks gain lead in home auto loans as retail credit demand rebounds. Okay. India Canada to resume free trade agreement negotiation. Remember the country names. Air India to induct 26 to 30 new planes, accelerate legacy jets, retrofit programs. Passenger volume have recovered from dip that followed AI's 171 crash. Air India CEO. Okay. So these all are the news of today's. So thank you for watching, and if you have any doubt then please comment down and I will provide you the link of this PDF in the description box. Go and download this PDF through that link and read each and every topic in detail. Okay, so thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.